A world-famous female writer with novels about super-charismatic spies. Being so famous has brought a lot of bad consequences to this female writer. Unexpectedly, she was also swept up in the events and organizations of real-life spies, with plot twists similar to those she wrote about in her works. But thanks to this event, she gradually discovers her hidden abilities, as well as the mysterious spy organization. So who is this girl? What was the past like? Let's unveil this secret after watching all this super spy movie. The film begins with the image of a formal gala. A dashing, burly guy invites a blonde beauty to dance with her. She quickly accepts despite the discouragement from the bodyguards. After a series of sexy dance moves of the two, the blonde said she knew this guy was the famous Argylle agent, and as soon as she finished, everyone there stood up with guns pointed at him. Sensing that there was no way back, he called his outside assistant Kara for help. She immediately infiltrated the security system of the building where the prom was being held and activated the fire extinguishing system. A puff of white smoke billowed out of the haze. Argylle quickly took advantage of the chaos, took down the bodyguards and escaped. Kara also drove to pick him up. But not expecting the blonde to ambush before and fire repeatedly at the two, Kara was wounded after those consecutive shots. Argylle quickly contacted the headquarters to ask for an ambulance to take Kara away, and he quickly chased after the blonde. Argylle uses a tourist car to chase her. A spectacular chase begins. Knowing that he cannot keep up with such speed, he decides to drive up the rooftops and steps, finally catching her up and directing her towards the path his comrades have been waiting for. There Wyatt was sipping his coffee. Just as she came running over, he used his athletic body, grabbed her with one hand, and then the two of them sat at the table to interrogate her. How she learned Argylle's identity even though they had never met. She handed out a phone, which contained all the information from his past, much to the shock of both of them. It turns out that it was his boss who had released all of Argylle's information and wanted to kill him. The blonde had also drunk poison and died in her beauty. The two of them didn't know what to do but decide to disconnect from the department, and search for the real reason together. This episode is also the end of Chapter 4 of the famous novel Argylle by the talented female writer Ellie. This work is extremely excellent and successful. Many fans came to Ellie's meeting, some of whom even strongly requested a private meeting with Ellie, but she very skillfully refused. Ellie is an introvert. Her hobby is to go home every evening and immerse herself in her own world, which is also the source of emotion for her works. This time she finished Chapter 5 ahead of time and showed it to her mother, who was interested in reading the chapter, and advised that there was a small problem at the end of Chapter 5, when Argylle managed to cooperate with a hacker and found the master file of the spy organization. The hacker left the USB stick containing all that information in one bullet. Argylle's mission was to travel to London to find the USB. The mother thinks that this open ending cannot satisfy the reader's desire, but because Ellie has run out of ideas, she wants Ellie to go home to play for a few days. Ellie agreed and took the train back to visit her parents. While waiting for the train to run, Ellie met a rather handsome guy who asked to sit next to her. Ellie was quite shy, so she missed the opportunity to get to know the other guy. But suddenly a rather sloppy-looking guy naturally sat in the chair opposite her. Ellie was quite annoyed but didn't know what to do. This guy claims to be a fan of Ellie, but he also says something incongruous about her work, where real spies will dress up as any normal person to avoid being recognized, rather than always having a flashy appearance like in her work. He later identified himself as a professional agent. At this time, a young man came to claim to be a fan and asked for her autograph, but actually intending to inject Ellie with anesthesia. The agent saw through it all in time. He quickly launched a blow to take down the assassin to her surprise. Soon many other assassins rushed out to attack him, giving him the opportunity to show off his top-notch fighting skills, from martial arts to shooting, all of which he performed quickly and professionally. Ellie had never witnessed such a scene in her life before, and the image of Agent Argylle quickly appeared in her eyes. But the assassins came in more and more numbers. The agent dragged Ellie to the end of the carriage, exploded the door and threw the parachute out, narrowly escaping the pursuit of the assassins. Ellie was so scared that she fainted. When she woke up, she found herself in a strange house, in front of the agent in the train car who saved her. He introduced himself as Aiden, a high-ranking agent tasked with protecting Ellie's safety. She was quite confused as to why she was involved in conflicts in the underworld like this. To prove his point, he shows Ellie the camera image of her house being rummaged through by animation assassins, in search of the next chapters of her work. For some reason, the events of her novel coincide with our sins in real life. They want to arrest her to prevent her from being exposed. Director Ritter of the other organization is enraged that his subordinates let Ellie escape. He excludes one junior to serve as a deterrent to others. Aiden took Ellie away on a private flight. At first she was quite scared because she had a high fear of poison, but then with the beauty of the city at night, Ellie was relieved. Their destination is none other than London, where in the novel Argylle will go to find the USB drive containing top-secret files. Coincidentally, Aiden also worked with a hacker and the data about the mysterious organization was also hidden in a USB stick. So this time he wanted to take Ellie with him, maybe he would find a clue. The two then go to the city's monument, where Aiden asks Ellie to write the next chapter of the novel, but Ellie says she needs a few days to complete a chapter. On one side, the director of the other organization learns Aiden and Ellie's location. Thanks to hacking into public cameras there, they are able to eavesdrop on their conversations. Thanks to Aiden's persuasion, Ellie finally agrees to continue writing the developments of the story. After analyzing the facts, she finds the location of the hacker's house. They find out where there is no one anymore. At this time Ritter's henchmen are very close to Ellie and Aiden. In anger, Aiden kicked the floor when he discovered that he had hidden some money and a canoe key, which may have implied the hacker's help. Ritter's henchmen arrived. Aiden dragged Ellie to hide in the basement under the floor, but due to the smell of their cat being exposed, Aiden had no choice but to storm up and clash with them, then lead Ellie to the rooftop of the building. At this point, the two realized that this was how the hacker was prepared to escape whenever something went wrong. Underneath was a canoe waiting to start the engine. Both of them and a cat jumped down to escape to the helplessness of the assassins. The two decide to stay at a simple motel, before setting off to find the USB stick containing the total file. Ellie, while Aiden went to the bathroom, overheard his phone conversation. In fact, he also intended to harm her. Ellie was shocked to learn that she was just being tricked. She hurriedly gathered her things and ran away with her cat. She called her mother to tell her that she was stranded in London, with no cash and passport, no way to get back home. So Ellie's parents went to London to pick up their daughter, booking a room at a hotel they frequented. At this time, Ellie's father appears to be none other than Ritter, the director of the mysterious organization that is pursuing Ellie. Ellie honestly told her parents everything she encountered. She also said that she got the diary of the hacker. Ritter, after hearing it, her eyes lit up, quickly found the diary, then took a picture of each page with her high-tech glasses. Aiden suddenly bursts in from nowhere, restrains Ritter with a gun. Ritter still pretends to be scared as if he knows nothing, as when he is so tired of acting, both of Ellie's parents take off their masks. She restrains Ellie with a gun. Aiden quickly shoots her down, then drags Ellie away with her. Ellie despairs when her own closest relative betrays her. Aiden says she misunderstood him. All he did was want to get Ellie to the safest place. If you want to know the truth behind it, trust him again. Ellie sleeps when Aiden takes her to a dreamy rural area in France, where a retired former CIA director named Alfred spends his old age in this simple little house. He took Ellie inside, then showed her a page of CIA files. Not expecting Ellie's past as a spy, she really couldn't believe what she saw in front of her eyes, rushed out and demanded the car keys from Aiden and wanted to leave. Aiden brought back her memories by attacking Ellie, who unconsciously dodged and counterattacked and knocked him down. At this point she accepted to calmly sit down and listen to Aiden explain everything. It turned out that she was the female agent assigned to the memorial to meet the hacker, but for some reason she lost contact with the headquarters. Aiden was desperate to find her when she learned she was in the hospital. Ritter and his assistant hypnotized Ellie and led her thinking to believe that they were her parents. After a skiing accident she was traumatized and forgot her memories. Ritter wanted to do it to make it easier to control her. Ellie suddenly wanted to become a fiction writer. What she wrote were her vague memories, which explains why her works are so authentic and stick to real events. It wasn't until she was about to reveal the secret of the USB drive that Ritter couldn't ignore it anymore. He wanted to catch her to cover up all the clues and learn the secret of the USB. In the USB stick, the hacker handed over the information to a woman in Saudi Arabia, known as the Keeper of the Secret, and only Ellie was the one who could go there and retrieve the USB. Although still very vague, Ellie decides to accompany Aiden to Arabia to complete her unfinished mission. They go to a splendid palace. The secret holder only asks Ellie to meet. She is Saba, who holds countless secrets in the world. She is quite suspicious if the person in front of her is the famous agent Rachel, since Ellie is currently just a gentle and shy writer. But Ellie uses all of the Argylle skills she's built, successfully convincing Saba to hand over the USB in a bullet. In the USB, Ellie learned the entire organization run by Ritter and a lot of other top-secret information. She brought the USB drive down to Aiden. Now that Ritter's assistant was also present, she offered Aiden and Ellie, while she used tricks to get Ellie to recall her memories. Especially being one of the agents in Ritter's organization, she and Aiden lost consciousness a while later because the tea contained anesthesia. Ellie wakes up to find herself in Ritter's study, the one that destroyed the USB stick. His purpose is to find Alfred's shelter and kill him, a thorn in his eye. He takes her to Aiden's place where he is being brutally beaten, telling Aiden to try to convince Ellie, before things get worse for him. Ellie suddenly shoots Aiden in the heart with a gun, then uses her computer to find her way to Alfred's shelter, only to learn that getting there is only a 12-hour drive. Ritter is overjoyed, not knowing that this is Ellie's plan to send information back to Alfred, but unfortunately the plan is revealed when the server needs Ritter's approval to send the data. On this side, Aiden also regains consciousness, then attacks the guards and escapes. He goes to the armory when he meets Ellie. She explained that she had planned to shoot him, and that the shooting location was also a place where the person who was shot would not be life-threatening. Together, the two clash so that they can try to send information back to Alfred, and along the way they encounter fierce pursuit from Ritter's men, who use tear gas grenades and guns to escape the encirclement. They accidentally broke the material pipes, causing oil to flow everywhere. Other soldiers dared to open fire as well. Ellie only now gets a chance to use her skiing skills, but this time she's skating on crude oil, combined with her one-handed attack ability to tackle Ritter's pile like a real dancer on the runway. The two successfully enter the server room, but Ritter doesn't let things go so easily. He silently follows behind and restrains Ellie and Aiden at gunpoint. In the most critical moment, an unexpected savior appears. It is Ellie's cat, who rushes to scratch Ritter for daring to harm his owner. Aiden takes the opportunity to give him a copper candy to die, but the cat has damaged Ritter's cornea, making it impossible for Aiden and Ellie to open the system, as he alone could open with his corneas. To solve this situation, Ellie went up with Aiden on the deck, signaling the location of this ship. It was the organization's secret base in the middle of the ocean. The secret information followed this signal to the waiting Alfred. At this time, Ritter's assistant used hypnosis by playing a song that evoked Ellie's memories. She gradually fell into a fantasy and unconsciously attacked Aiden. Aiden was difficult to avoid because she could not hit Ellie. At this time the assistant was suddenly attacked by a stranger. It was Kara, a fan of Ellie's, and it was Kara who sent Ellie information about where she was under her heart so she could get hit without dying. Ellie was now conscious and sent the file to Alfred. The three then boarded a small canoe and left. Before leaving, Kara planted a lot of explosives on that ship and it exploded after the three left. At the end of the film, based on her own experiences, Ellie completed the novel Argylle, which received a lot of praise and admiration from readers. The drama here is the end. Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you see it, please like and follow our channel. See you in the next videos.